there is a report in the Nagaland paper today which has caught my attention, and this is regarding the clarification sought from the Chief Secretary of Nagaland regarding the Nagaki project and the Nagaki city at Chathe under the Medzi Fima subdivision in Chumukondima district. A letter has been written to the Chief Secretary by 3 landowners who are prominent citizens, and they need certain clarifications regarding this particular project. These 3 landowners are Kuola Chali Sei for community land and New Sokunoma, Z Lohe, former NLA speaker, and K Kire, who is an IPS, a retired former DGP. They have sought facts from the Chief Secretary regarding land acquisition, modus operandi of the mega project, and various other related matters to this particular project. They want to know about funding and approval, about land ownership regulations. They've also mentioned respect for property rights. I'll go into each of them individually as well. Transparency, project's impact, uniformity in land earmarking, and reversion of land. Very, very pertinent and important points which concern all those people whose land could be acquired for the Nagaki project. The questions which have been asked as regards funding and approval are about significant investments from land acquisitions to infrastructural developments, and they want to know whether the project is funded by the Government of India or through loans, and if they are through loans, you know that would ultimately burden the citizens with debt servicing, and they want to know whether this proposed project is going to be approved by the Nagaland Assembly or whether it is going to be a central government project, and whether this project has been placed before the Nagaland Assembly till now. On the issue of land ownership regulations, they under the Nagaland Land and Revenue Regulation Amendment Act of 1978, which prohibits non-indigenous persons from owning or leasing land in Nagaland, because as you know that Nagaland has special status, and it has special status under the constitution as well. So they want to know whether the state government is also going to enforce this law in this proposed project of Nagaki city, that outsiders, that is people from outside Nagaland, whether that means the non-indigenous persons, whether they will be allowed to own or lease land or whether it will be maintained the way it is till now. They also want to know whether there has been any consultation with landowners, and for this, in fact, there has been no consultation with landowners, and for that they have criticized the government for not consulting the landowners before proceeding for a DPR, a detailed project report, and getting an approval from the center, that is the Government of India, and without figuring out how much of land is really available in the area which they have earmarked for Nagaki city. And they feel that the opinion and cooperation of the local people, the landowners of that area, should have been sought beforehand before coming up with this proposal. On the issue of property rights, they talk about the protection of property rights under indigenous customs and constitution, and they have questioned whether the government is going to respect the legal rights of the individual landowners. Under the constitution, Nagaland has special rights for various things, and we know that Nagaland has special status under the Constitution of India. As regards transparency, they have expressed concerns over the lack of transparency as regards the acquisition rates being offered to landowners, and they have also mentioned that the project's impact when it comes to the government's plan to reserve about 16.5 hectares out of a total of 330 hectares which is earmarked for this particular project. This 16.5 hectares is going to be held as reserve and going to be sold later at the rate of rupees 5,000 per square meter, and therefore they wanted to know whether this proposed mega project really was at the expense of gullible landowners who could be exploited later on due to the government's policy and lack of transparency. Then they have also alleged that the government has failed to enforce uniformity in land earmarking for the project, leaving out areas which belong to the rich and powerful. So the rich and the powerful are not coming in the purview of this particular project according to their allegation, and they question whether this is not an act of exploitation of those who are not rich and powerful. They have also mentioned about, in fact, this is a question which is very important, that if the government failed to utilize the acquired lands as scheduled due to funding issues or some other reason, what will happen to this land? Will this land be returned to the original owners at the original purchase rate, or will it be sold more expensive, or will the government keep it? And these three gentlemen who've written have requested the Chief Secretary to address all these questions that they have in mind and provide clarifications of the issues which have been raised in their letter. Now, it's very important for those who are empowered, and here we know that these three people, these three landowners, who of whom one is a retired IPS, a retired DGP, one is an NLA speaker. They are actually putting forth to the government all the questions which could harm or which could benefit every single landowner who comes in the purview of this project and their land is acquired. And therefore this is a good move, but as far as the Nagaki city project is concerned, there are lots of questions which the government really needs to answer, and the fact that this city is going to be developed in Chumukadima, which is really so close to Dimapur, or rather should I say was at one point of time right there as part of Dimapur. So if this is happening, and there are very, very important people who live in Chumukadima, that's why probably this area has been earmarked for that. Why is it that those who are not rich and powerful, their lands are being considered for acquisition for the Nagaki mega project? And why is it that the rich and the powerful are being left out of it? Is it to benefit them? Has the project been made in such a manner that their lands don't come in that area which has been earmarked for this particular project? And like they have mentioned, it's about 330 hectares that we are talking about, of which 16.5 hectares are going to be sold later. So it's going to be held as reserve, and it's going to be sold at 5,000 rupees per square meter. Now, one very important question that I found in this report was what they have asked about what happens to the land in case this project does not take off or it gets held up. Is the land going to be returned at the same rate? Because you know this is a way of inflating rates. This is happening across the country, and it is important that those who are not rich, those who are not powerful, they are not exploited. That is the main concern. And also the fact that the special status that Nagaland has, the indigenous people have, that is not targeted. That is the purpose of this letter. And I think that this should be considered the way it is, and do let me know what you think about it. A lot of people would have various queries about it, so it's important that they know that there is somebody who is asking the relevant questions, and I hope that you also begin to ask those relevant questions, because they matter. They matter because once your land is gone, after that you can keep asking questions, it won't really matter. Now, if this project is being done directly by the permission of the central government, and the money is going to be coming from there, what happens if Nagaland has special status? Has the Neefor Rio government placed this before Nagaland Assembly? These are all very, very pertinent questions, and let's wait and watch what happens next, because the Chief Secretary obviously has been asked these questions, and I'm sure he will be answering all the queries of these very three senior eminent citizens of Nagaland. Do let me know how you like this video, comment on it, and do share it. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Stay aware, stay empowered. It's your land.